All right. Good afternoon, everyone. All right. Welcome to the 1883 Speaker Series. My name is Mike Wozniak, and I serve as the coordinator. Is this better? Okay. And I serve as the coordinator of leadership and programming in the Student Involvement and Parent Programs Office. Just welcoming you to the next iteration of the 1883 Speaker Series. So each week we invite a campus or community leader to talk about how today's student can develop their leadership skills, as well as other advice regarding personal and professional development. We hope you learn some valuable lessons in the next 18 minutes and 83 seconds. For today's speaker, please join me in welcoming the director of the UND Center for Innovation, Dr. Amy Whitney.
Thanks, Mike. I am really excited to be here today. And in good Dr. Amy Whitney form as the director of the Center for Innovation, I took a little creative license in the theme and how I would present some of my thoughts on it today using one of my favorite things, hiking. So I want to introduce you and welcome you to Mount Leadership, elevation 1,883 feet. Not actually quite technically a mountain, but we're going to go with it for today. So I'm going to be your trail guide. But before we leave for our hike up the summit of Mount Leadership, there are 11 trail lessons that I'd like to share with you today. Some of them will require audience participation to practice them. So be prepared. I might call on you to randomly help us practice a couple of the lessons today. I hear nervous laughter from all of you. What is she going to make me do? Don't worry, it's not painful, I promise. All right, before we go on a hike, the first lesson that we need to think about is being prepared. Every hike does require preparation. And that does not matter if you're just going down the road to Turtle River State Park for a quick 1-mile hike, or if you're deciding you want to take on a big challenge like through hiking the Appalachian Trail or the PCT. You're going to have to ask yourself, am I wearing the right gear? Do I need food? Do I have enough water? Do I need shelter? What about those emergency supplies? You can tell I came dressed for the hike today. I'm prepared. But just as you prepare for a hike, you need to prepare yourself for life responsibilities and for leadership. Everyone that I do consider a leader, when I think about what is guiding them through and down their trail map, there's a couple things that are always there. The first one is preparation. They're setting clear goals, and they're also guiding people along the way. Now, preparation is going to look different for each one of you, just like it's different for every hike that you take. Remember, it's about setting goals, checking your trail map, and knowing why you're headed in that direction. So think about how you want to make your preparations. Lesson number 2 is cultivating curiosity. Why do I hike? You might ask. I hike because it provides me time to recharge, rejuvenate my batteries, reflect, but it also challenges me both mentally and physically. It's an opportunity for me to explore new places and meet new people. Every time that I go on a hike, it's a unique experience. Every experience you have is a unique opportunity to learn and grow. As a lifelong learner, curiosity for me has included pursuing multiple degrees and also some professional certifications. I've had the opportunity to study political science, sociology, criminology, business, education, innovation, creativity, and even emergency management. But through all of that, there's a couple things that have always grounded my curiosity. Seeking out people who are different than me and also smarter than me. And also making sure that I'm engaging in my community so that I can grow my network, my knowledge base, and the diversity of experiences that come with going through life. So try new paths, see where it leads. Explore some trails that push your comfort zones. Like today, I'm standing up here without any notes. So engage your intellect. Be a curious leader of life. So how are you going to cultivate your curiosity? Lesson number 3, true north. So hikers use north for navigation. There's actually two different norths. I don't know if you know that. And I am not a geographer, nor am I a geologist, and I probably need to spend more time over in the College of Engineering and Mines. However, I am going to try and explain very briefly to you the difference between them. True north is a line from the equator to the North Pole, and it shifts a few inches every year because of tidal forces. Magnetic north is over the Arctic, and it's the one that we often use when we're using a compass. We always talk about that magnetic north when you're using a compass. Well, growing up as a Girl Scout, I used compasses and maps to go and hike trails. But how in the heck does this relate to leadership in life? Well, north is to navigation, like your beliefs, your values, and your principles are to you as a person and you as a leader. So as a hiker, when the terrain's uneven and you lose your way because you can't find the trail markers, you can pull out a compass and a map. When you have a difficult decision or you're not sure what to do or figure out how to handle a relationship, you fall back on your beliefs, your values, and your principles. These are foundations of authenticity and authentic leadership. How will you find your true north? Now the fun comes. Lesson number 4, making connections. Hiking is a great way to make connections. And for the past 13 or plus years, I've been working as a practitioner of creativity and innovation. On the trail, I actually practice these skills when I'm out hiking. So part of making connections is seeing things beyond what's right in front of you and connecting unconnected things. So we're going to practice this. So we're going to look at these pictures, and the one on my right, your left, is a stump that was taken at Turtle River State Park. When I see that stump, I also see a hairy gnome or a wine goblet. Sonia, what do you see? I see an abandoned drum. An abandoned drum. Excellent. Rob, what do you see? I have my glasses, so I can't. You see a fuzzy something. Okay, you still see something. That's great. Awesome. All good. Devil's Tower. I see a hot churro fresh out of the fryolator. Jill, what do you see? A pile of sticks. Excellent. The moral here is connect the unconnected. See things and imagine beyond what you have right in front of you. You never know what you're going to find. That applies to life as well. In my work, if I'm teaching innovation by design here on campus, or I'm helping my staff implement a program, or I'm teaching a national I-Corps program with innovators from all across the country, the magic of those programs is when we connect to people. When you're hiking, you could be connecting in ways that you never thought with the people who are on trail with you, or strike up a random conversation with someone you meet on the trail. The magic happens through those connections. Ask questions, listen deeply, and practice empathy. That's where inspiration comes from. That's where new ideas and creativity and innovation thrive. Creating connections is also how we grow as a person, because we get to explore outside our normal frame of reference. Lesson 5, embrace the solitude. We all have a lot of noise and activity in our lives. How many times do we say, oh, I'm so busy? And when it's quiet, it actually feels uncomfortable. Hiking is a time when you can actually have silence, and that solitude is actually a gift. It's a time when I've had some of my greatest inspirations and most memorable moments. Take some time to step away from all that noise and activity and that daily grind of your everyday routine. Innovators across time have had some of their best ideas and greatest inventions when they stepped away. And that's where some of those great innovations that we take for granted every day, that's when they happened. Not because they just kept attacking it over and over. They embraced the solitude. How will you do the same? Okay, more fun time. Next lesson is to channel kindergarten. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to remember your kindergarten classroom. What do you remember? Melanie, what do you remember? Coloring crayons, absolutely. Here in the front with the red lanyard. What do you remember about kindergarten?
Not wanting to nap.
Oh, you like my daughter. She did not like to nap either. Absolutely. Kindergarten is one of those times when you get to play outside, have an imagination, and nobody's going to question you. You get to color, albeit if you were me, I colored outside the lines all the time. But the other piece of being that age was I asked a lot of questions, probably to the point that I drove both my kindergarten teacher and my mother crazy. But I'm not asking, right, to channel kindergarten and throw caution to the wind. We don't need to put anybody in timeout. What I am suggesting is when we channel kindergarten, it's about asking questions. At the Center for Innovation, we teach the 5 Why principle. And we do that because we want to help our founders discover who needs their solution the most and deeply understand how it's solving a problem that matters to them and that customer, rather than just them as a founder trying to move an idea forward. Now, traditionally, hiking off trail is discouraged. But as you can see, I don't always follow the rules because I'm sitting in a stream in all my hiking clothes, and that is definitely not the trail. But how is it and when is it appropriate to color outside the lines and hike off the trail? When you have an idea that you know it's going to add value, speak up. When you know that you have this crazy invention that you think can solve the next best challenge in our lives, bring it forward. If you have an alternative compromise to what some other people may see as a lose-lose situation, speak up. That's when it's okay to color outside the lines and not follow all of the rules that are following and guiding what we do every day. So make time to put on some silly glasses, color outside the lines, build something from a random collection of objects, and still make sure that you're asking questions. How are you going to channel kindergarten into your own life and leadership philosophy? Lesson 7, seek out the unknown. On this trip to Utah, we stopped at a place called the Belly of the Dragon. On approach, this is, for those that don't know, this is a man-made tunnel. And on approach, it was really intimidating because it was dark. You could not see. We weren't really sure what we were going to face inside either. Were there wild animals that lived in this cave? Was there water in there? How deep was it? We didn't know the answer to any of those questions. But we decided to harness our nerves, give it a shot. We grabbed our flashlights, albeit our phones with the lights, but we grabbed our flashlights because we were prepared, and we went inside and found this amazing tunnel with no wild animals had to be scared away, no water, and all these awesome crevices that we got to see different things about this geography. It was fantastic. A life example for me of seeking out the unknown was moving here to North Dakota. It was a time in my professional and personal life where I wasn't sure what path I had truly just chosen. I did know I was coming to Grand Forks, and I did know I was coming to this great university to take a really fun job. But I didn't know anybody in Grand Forks, North Dakota, because I grew up in New England on a tiny dairy farm in northern Vermont in a town of 3,500. So this was a way and a time in my life where I chose to seek out the unknown. There'll be times in your life where you'll have an opportunity to seek out the unknown. When you choose this path, and it is a path that is worth choosing, accept and embrace the nervousness. Accept and embrace you're not necessarily going to know every single step of what's going to be in that cave. Grab your flashlight, know you're prepared, and seek out that unknown. Explore the crevices along the way and when you get there, because it's a new experience to grow and to learn. So how can you seek out the unknown? Lesson 8, you have to trust yourself and others. So rock climbing is the ultimate test of trust, both in yourself and in others. So when we were on this hike in Maine, we literally went over the cliff down to the ocean side, and the only way back up was to scale the cliff and to hike it. There was no other way to get back up. I had to trust myself that I could find handholds to scale that rock wall. I had to trust my safety equipment, and I had to trust my best friend and our trail guide to manage the belay system. Leadership in life requires trust in yourself when you're not quite sure it's there, and you have to trust others to have your back along the way. There will be times when you doubt yourself and others. Can I make the climb? Does that person truly have my best interests at heart? Did I make the right choice? Those are absolutely normal questions. Your internal compass, your network, and your preparation are all foundations to be able to give you that trust in yourself and in others. So know that those handholds are there when you're at the bottom of that rocky cliff. Know that you can do it. Believe in yourself. Believe in your safety equipment, and believe in those that are managing that belay system. They do have your back. However, lesson 9, there are going to be challenges. That rock wall was really hard to scale, by the way. So yes, hiking is hard. But don't give up just because it's difficult. This trail, which is pictured here, is a 1 mile trail on the top of Mount Mansfield in Vermont. It looks impossible if you look at the pictures. I'm here to tell you that it is traversable. You have to have a can-do attitude. You have to have some patience. And you do need some climbing aids to get you to the top. For us on this trail, it was some ladder rungs on the rock, some butt sliding and bear crawling, and some really good hiking shoes. But I will tell you that the group I was with, numerous times, the comment was, I'm not sure we're going to make it to the top. As a leader across multiple organizations, I have lost count of how many times I have heard, nope, can't do it. That's impossible. It's too hard. We can definitely not do X, Y, or Z. It happens all the time. As a firefighter, I expected challenges in my life because when I had to answer that call for help, I knew somebody was having their worst day. On the fire ground, though, I had to stay calm, and I had to be able to find ways to address the challenge that was put in front of me. I had to know how to manage through panic and distress and somebody else's panic and distress. All of these experiences, both known challenges and unknown challenges, planned or unplanned. I can tell you with confidence that challenges can be navigated. You may have to change the course within which you are doing something, but that doesn't mean that you can't get through it. It also means that you might have to use climbing aids to help you navigate that challenge. Also, okay, but you can do it because it's not impossible. You just might need to be thinking about a different way to navigate that challenge. Lesson number 10, know your limits. So there are going to be times when the conditions are out of your control. And when that happens, it is okay to turn around. When you're hiking, that sometimes will mean the difference between life or death, as you can see from these signs. These are real signs. In life, we call knowing our limits work-life balance and good mental health. Know that it's okay to stop doing something. Tomorrow is another day. Now, people who know me well will know that of all the lessons I'm going over today, this is the one that I struggle with the most. It's hard, but it is an important one, and I 100% respect it. I'll call this one a work in progress for me. But why is it important? It's important because when it's disregarded, I can tell you I've carried way too many people off of a mountain trail. strapped into a stretcher because they didn't know their limits. They didn't stop. They did not turn around. In life, I have seen friends, family, coworkers. I've seen them burn out. I've seen them hate their jobs. And I've seen them make decisions that have life-altering consequences. All things that if you know your limits and you take care of yourself are ways that you won't end up in those types of situations. So how will you take care of yourself? And lesson number 11, change is inevitable. When you hike a trail in the summer and you go back in the winter, two very different experiences. That's change. Hike a trail one year, go back another. Time, weather, the terrain will change. The route even may change. As a mother and head of my household, I've had the privilege of watching my daughter grow from the baby I brought home from the hospital into a mature young woman who is going to be off to college and sitting where some of you are in a short 2 years. The constant here is that change is inevitable. As a professional, as a person, your career and your life is going to change many times in many different ways. Every path is going to be different. Some will build on others. Some you're going to need to blaze and create on your own. Embrace that change as an opportunity to learn and explore. But I want to ask you to leave some room. Leave some room for your goal and your life paths and that internal compass that you have. Remember, true north, it shifts. Leave room for your internal compass to shift because change is inevitable. So where does that leave us? Well, hiking, life, leadership, they're intimidating and they're exhilarating all at the same time. It's a roller coaster of a journey. I hike to discover new places and grow. Imagine this journey, being the person that was at the top of Mount Washington who got to discover and experience the fastest wind observed by a person. That is one crazy discovery. Leadership in life is a journey that you get to take. And it's going to come in many different forms. Sometimes it'll be a job title. It might be an invention to cure cancer. It could be that you simply organize a community fundraiser. It could be that you just have to make an important decision. It may mean that you spend time with family and friends and listen to someone in a moment of need. Or you could design the next spacesuit that lands on Mars. So my question for you is, how will you lead? And what's your journey to discovery? What trails are you going to walk? And how will you do something that's uniquely you? So as your trail guide, you're now ready to climb Mount Leadership. And quickly, just to go over it, remember those 11 trail rules, because every hike is a new journey and an opportunity to grow on your leadership path to life. So put on your hiking boots, hike your own hike. The view is worth the climb. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Whitney. Appreciate it. All right, thank you all for joining us. And again, we invite you to join us again next week, same time, same place, for the provost, Dr. Eric Link. Thank you.